G'day everybody, how's it going? Timeister here. Welcome back to Gasparilla County. And in today's video, we are finally going to actually be wrapping up the city, the proper city of St. Patricksburg. So there's not really much left to do. Much of what is left to do is service related. So we're going to be building some public transit. We're going to be building a quite intricate bus network. And I'm also just going to be glossing over all of our different services to make sure that the city is in good shape. So here we have a map of the PSTA system, which covers the St. Pete area. It comprises mostly buses, but there's also a trolley system that goes up and down the west coast of the city. And you know, there's multiple lines here with different frequencies, it looks like, but most of all, the city seems to be set up in sort of a grid pattern with a few major hub stations dotted around the entire city. So I'm going to kind of base the St. Patricksburg system in a similar fashion. We're going to have a kind of hub and spoke type system where we're going to have stations all across the city that will be interconnected with various lines. All right, so with that being said, let's jump right into it. Now, first off, if you remember a few episodes ago, I plopped down a small bus station over here. And unfortunately, I really wanted to at least plop one proper bus station somewhere in town, but just look at the size of this, guys. I'm not going to be able to fit this anywhere near downtown, so we'll just have to make do with a number of small bus stations dotted through the town. But I think we should be able to make do because it looks like the actual St. Pete system is just that. It's a number of smaller stations that are dotted throughout the town, and then they have like this kind of hub and spoke system going on in a sort of grid pattern. So we have one station over here, and I think I'm going to place a second station somewhere in the southern part of the city. We'll just have to figure out where we can fit this. Unfortunately, we're definitely going to have to sacrifice some homes, but it looks like I can probably get it to fit right over here, I'm thinking, along this main road. Uh-oh. It looks like I'm not going to be able to get it to fit right there because, yeah, I think it's just anarchy that's not really playing nice. So I'm going to enable anarchy. I'm manually going to get rid of these homes. And I suppose that one too. We'll replace this with commercial zones because, let's be real, nobody wants to live next to a bus station. No offense to anybody who does, but I mean, it's not a dream location for most people, I think. So there we go. And oh, and this is kind of cool. It creates a kind of plaza in the back here, so it makes it accessible by walking for you know, the people who might be in behind over here. So just scooch over a couple of trees, make this look a bit nicer. There we go. And then these businesses are going to build up. So there we go. We have two proper stations. And what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start off with our very first north to south line here that's going to go right through the heart of the city. And it is going to begin, this line's going to begin, I'm thinking somewhere over here. Eventually it's probably going to make its way onto the island, but there's no point in doing that yet. So I'm going to start things off over in this region. All right, so I think it would make sense to definitely have a stop on this island, on our luxury resort island. I think one stop will do just fine. And then I guess, oh, here's one thing that I have to outline, guys. Somebody commented on one of my previous videos. They recommended that I watch out for driveways coming in and out of areas. So it wouldn't be very realistic for me to put a bus stop right in the middle of this driveway. It would prevent drivers from coming in and out of this area. So that's a really, really good point, and I had never considered that before. So from now on, I'm going to make sure to zoom in and, you know, make sure that I'm not blocking an entrance or whatever to a building with a bus stop. So very good point. I forget who exactly made that point, but it is definitely something that I am going to consider when building out an area. So I guess I'm gonna plop a second one here, and there is nothing at all against this road. I guess it is a good opportunity to build some small commercial zones, so some small businesses, things like that. And I'm actually going to scooch this over here, so yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. And there's definitely not going to be any buildings in the front of this station, so we're good. And just to make this stop a little bit more accessible, I'll build a path going out back here, so anybody who may live in this area can just walk right to the bus stop. Wonderful. Okay, so now we're gonna make our way a bit closer into the downtown area. And I think that should cut it for this leg. And now let's keep going into the downtown area. In downtown, it doesn't really matter that much to watch out too much, I guess, for where you place bus stops, because, for example, you know, I have like just a massive slab of concrete here, so it doesn't really matter where I put it. But I'll still try to be careful. And being careful not to place them too closely to each other. Let's build a couple here. And then, you know, I'm debating making a bit of a detour. I wonder if it should go to this station over here as well. No, I think it's good. I think I'm just gonna keep going. So the next one will be over here. And then the next one over here. So I'm just gonna zoom out for a sec, make sure that we're not blocking anything. So in front of this store should be fine. And I believe in front of this store, yep, that's fine as well. And now we're off into the industrial area. So I'll have to make a loop to bring our buses back. So what I'll do is, I guess, just loop it off into this direction. So we'll have one stop right here in front of this little grass strip. There we go. And then we'll have another one over here. Another one over here in front of this parking lot. Oh, no, I better actually build it here just so it's more... no, I don't really need one. That's a bit close. That's fine. And instead, I'm going to build one right over here, just like that. All right, so that covers, I would say, a pretty wide area. I think I might place one more. Why not? I'll put one more here. It's better to have too many stations than not enough. So let's do that. Because like I said, we definitely want there to be a higher density of stops in the downtown area. So we're gonna start things off here. We're gonna connect this up and then slowly make our way through our main station. And then we'll continue along Main Street, or whatever the street is called. It's kind of the main street of the whole city, really. And of course, this is a pretty important line because it does pass into some of the more important landmarks in the city. We had a convention center that this passes right in front of, so obviously it's a very vital line. And there we have it, and this is kind of funny because this line appears to be exactly the same color as some of the lines on the St. Pete system, so that's pretty cool. All right, so next up, what I'll do is I'm gonna take advantage of this small station, and I'm gonna service this coastal road here. So this is gonna pretty much follow the coast all along this line. So we're gonna start off by placing our bus stops. And you know what? I'm gonna try to make, well, we do have a tram stop right here and the bus station is right there. So I think, you know, our two systems kind of intermingle quite nicely. just because of that. But let's see here. Okay, this store is kind of directly on the street, so I'll just plop down 2 stops here, and then we'll come across the bridge, and then these folks will have some bus stops in their front yards, which is totally fine. And I'll do the same thing over here as well. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna delete this one. And we're gonna loop things around over by this school. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna have some decent transferability of this line. So I'm gonna have a stop here, and then essentially what's gonna happen is our buses are just gonna make a loop along this exact same line, and then they'll make their way back to downtown. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what you guys think so far. Is my bus network making sense? You know, I'm far from being a public transit infrastructure, you know, professional here. I'm just kind of figuring everything out on a whim. So let me know. Here we'll have a couple of stops. And then may as well have some stops along our tram lines as well. So this will be a good transfer point. And I think I'm just gonna end this line over at this station over here. That would make sense, I suppose, right? Right, guys? So let's do create a new route. And we're essentially going to follow the coast. And then we're gonna make a stop over at this station before continuing on into the northeastern section of the city, passing in front of schools and all kinds of important infrastructure. And we'll just loop our way back around. And we'll do a complete route. I'm just gonna keep the colors the same for now. I'd rather just go over all of our lines, you know, once they're all complete. So there we go. We got 2 lines complete already. Now I think I'm gonna do 2 more in the north to south orientation. So we have this main artery going right through the middle of the city, and then we have another one going along here. So I think servicing all of these main arteries is the way to go. And I'm thinking about placing another hub over in this section. I think that would make sense because this is kind of like section of road here appears to be the terminus of a lot of these lines. You know, they kind of spread out into all directions from this point. So I'm going to do that. Let's turn off anarchy here because I probably don't need it. And let's see, where can I fit this? I think I'm just gonna plop it. I'm just gonna plop it right here. I don't necessarily want it to be right along this main road. I think it makes more sense for buses to turn off onto a smaller road and then convene over here instead of just congesting directly onto a main road. So I'm gonna remove these homes here. It makes more sense for there to be businesses along this main road. And I think I could probably squeeze a couple more here, you know. I want to maximize all of the available real estate, especially so close to downtown. Okay, so let's get started. Let's build out a new line. This appears to be a lot of residences along this stretch of road, so we're going to be servicing a lot of homes on this route. So here we have some row houses. Doesn't really matter where we put down these stops. We've got a lot of parking here. I think, yeah, in the middle of these parking spots. Perfect. Yep, we got our massive high school which we will properly be servicing. One more over here. Yup, that makes sense. And then awesome. And I think we may want to build a little bit of interconnectivity over here, I'm thinking. So I'm actually going to add... no, this doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I'm gonna add 2 stops, just like this. And you'll see why in just a moment. And why not 1 more, just here. So what I'll do is I'm going to connect these 2 routes to this stop. And then let's get things started over here. So let's start a new route. We'll make our way through this main corridor. And then this route will loop its way just like this. So this will allow us a little bit of interconnectivity between these 2 lines. You just have to cross the street, that's all. And then, yeah, I think that should do it. And in addition, what I'll do is I may as well loop this bus terminal into the system just like this, and yeah, I guess in this direction too. Wait, I forget. Yeah, I think it was this one. Let's do that. There. So it lengthens the line a little bit, but I mean, it provides some extra connection. Okay, so now we're ready for our 4th north to south line. So we're gonna go along this main corridor. So just kind of being careful where I place my stops. Still aiming for some degree of realism. And oh, actually, yeah, nothing actually connects to this road. So I think what I'll do is just add, is this too close? No, not necessarily. I think I'm gonna add a stop right here. And again, right across the road. Perfect. That is wonderful. And yeah, all along this main road, there's not really anything going on except I'm gonna add a couple of stops here. And then how do we make this loop? I think I'll just take a couple of back roads or something. Now we're right in the heart of the industrial area, so we'll do something like this. And then the loop will go off in this direction, just like so. Just a nice and easy loop, just like that. Oh, of course I should add a couple of stops along this road here too. There's a ton of homes. There we go. Oh my god, look at that. Whoa! There's people flocking to these bus routes already. Wow, guys, that's crazy. Okay, and I'm gonna have to be careful here. I'm gonna have to go through each and every one of these lines to make sure I don't have like 14 buses for each line. You know, we want to keep things reasonable. All right, so let's get started on this route. So we're gonna go up here along the western shore. Route complete. There we go. All right, things are looking pretty cool so far. And now we're gonna get started on our east to west stations. Now I'm just gonna have to ponder here for a second. Actually, you know what I think I'm gonna do is plop No, I don't think so. I don't think it's worth building any actual bus stations along this western route, but definitely I think it would be worth building one along some of these main stations that there's going to be both east to west, north to south lines coming through. And where I'm gonna get started is right here. And let's do some row houses to replace those. There we go. And what I'm gonna do, let me pause the game real quick. I'm going to move this route into this little station. Now, I'm not really sure how. Oh, wait a minute. This is kind of... I might be better off just adding. Yeah, just like that. And then adding another one in this route. And deleting these. There we go. So that'll actually take a little bit of congestion off the roads, because now the buses will have to turn and then go into this station. And you know what? Not every stop needs to be like a proper shelter. We can just place some signs as well. You know, I think I might actually go throughout some of our neighborhoods, and rather than placing big shelters, I think just some regular stop signs, or well, like bus stop signs, not actual stop signs. Yeah, I think these little signs might actually be a bit better, because who wants a big bus shelter right in their front yard, right? You know, Florida is, of course, the NIMBY capital of the world, I would say. I'm not sure how true that is, but it seems to be that there is a lot of NIMBYism going on in a lot of Floridian neighborhoods. So there, but I think as we head into downtown, then I think it's fine to have more of these sheltered bus stops. There, so heading through downtown. Where, oh where am I going to make this bus station terminate? I think I'm just gonna do a little loop, just like this. Yeah, that would be quite nice. Let's do that. So this is going to be a pretty short route, actually, but that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So let's get started. We're going to loop around like this, so you'll be able to transfer over here. And then... nope, I don't want to complete the route yet. Same thing over here, so you'll be able to transfer lines on either coast. Complete route, but I also would like to add another waypoint in this direction too. There we go, that is wonderful. Perfect. Now, one thing that's interesting about St. Patricksburg is we kind of have two urban centers, right? We have downtown proper, and then we have Old Town here, which, you know, doesn't quite have the same density, but there's still a large number of small buildings and things. So this area is going to have some really good coverage as well. So the next route I'm going to work on, we're going to start it off from, well, actually, wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I got to place down our bus stops, of course. But essentially what I was about to say is it's going to start right here at our main station, and then from here let's build a couple of stops right here, and then from there let's go along Main Street. So we'll have a couple of stops just like that, and then there's going to be a little bit of interconnectivity, so these stops here are going to be shared between two lines, but then they will quickly spread apart and head off into either direction. So then this main corridor will be serviced by this route. So yeah, I think one here, One here, one here. And then I suppose I'll just loop things around somewhere along this area. Actually, I think this would be a perfect spot right over here. There. There we are. And I've gotten a couple of comments actually a little while ago. I've never really done anything about this. You guys are totally right. I think the density of these tram stops is a little too high. So I'm going to remove a couple of them. I think that makes sense, you know. So I'm going to remove one from here. I think the next one... I think I'll remove these two. And yeah, I guess this one will have to go as well. There. So then it'll be 3 stations. These two are completely fine. This one here is okay. And then downtown, I guess I'll leave that one. I don't know, downtown it's hard to tell, because these are all like pretty important landmarks. I guess I could remove this one. I don't know, I think, maybe this one I could remove by this park. It is getting some usage. Passengers waiting, well, not anymore. They're all on the train. I don't know, I guess I could remove it. There, I don't know, I kind of like this park. Maybe I'll service this park with the buses. If I'm not already, no, not really. But yeah, maybe I'll definitely want to service that with buses. So I removed a couple of tram stations. I think that is a bit more reasonable. So let's continue on the bus route we were working on. So I'm going to select this middle slot here, and then we're going to go through Old Town, connecting through these bus stops. And then we're gonna loop our way through here and make our way back to Old Town. Complete route. There we go. Okay, so we've got some decent north to south lines, east to west. We've got a couple. I think I want to see a bit more density in the downtown area. We do have kind of a blank spot here. And you know, this is a pretty high density area, so we're gonna want to add some service here, I think. And along the middle, could probably use some extra service. So I have one more slot. Uh-oh, what does this mean? No vehicles. Okay, that is kind of to be expected, because I'm sure the game has allotted like 15 buses per line. So we're gonna want to clean that up for sure. So here, let's do a couple of stops here. And then I'll do one along this park. Oh, it kept the waypoints. That's okay. And then another one. Oh yeah, so right here we have our elementary school and then a medical clinic. So this is, you know, a pretty vital bus stop right along here. What am I gonna do? So we have like this main corridor through the middle. Did we use up all of our lines? Nope, we got one more. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this one, use this one, use this third one. And then we're gonna start to make our way up north in this direction. There, so this route's a little bit more all over the place compared to what we've seen so far. But that's quite all right. So there. Now this line is going to allow for quite a bit of transferability. It's sharing a lot of stops with various other lines. So this one's probably going to get a lot of cross traffic, I'm sure. There, let's do that. And then we're going to loop our way through here. So I'm going to add a waypoint. And oh crap, I should have added another stop here. So I'm just going to add a waypoint. And yeah, let's loop. Actually, no, there's no reason to do that. So I'm going to add another waypoint there. I'm going to share these stops before making our way back to the station. So one stop here. Oh, I already have one. Where? Over here. And there we go. All right. Well, what do you guys think of this? I think we have a pretty fair coverage of the whole city. Now, the only problem, like I explained earlier, we're going to have to reduce the amount of buses per line. We're going to have to go through each one of these bus routes. Oh, okay, I only have 7. I thought I was going to have more than that. So I think I'm just going to leave them with their respective names, but I'm going to change the color. So this one will do red. This one will do orange. I guess I'm just going to work my way through the rainbow. You know, everybody's welcome along our bus system here. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And holy crap, look at this, guys. Look at our usage. Oh my god, this bus network is going to completely drain the city of any cars. This is wild. Okay, well, let's go through each and every one of these lines, and we are going to properly manage them. So let's open this one up. See, of course, we don't need 7 buses on one line. I think we can reduce this way down to 4. And this is going to do 2 things by doing this. Of course, it's going to free up a lot of buses, but my lines are not really that long. So each one of these buses are going to become more full. Now, there's a couple of things that we want to make sure of. We want to make sure that each bus is not over 100% full. I mean, that's not really possible, but if each bus is 100% full, then we know that we don't have enough buses. And at that point, we can start adding some. You know, we want each bus to be as close to 100% full as possible, but not actually like being at 100%, because that means that we just don't have enough buses. So let's do that. And I think I'm just going to reduce the ticket price to like $2, because $8 is pretty high. So same thing over here. I'm just going to reduce this down to 4 buses, ticket price down to 2. So we're going to do pretty much the same thing for each one of these lines. My yellow line, I can go down to 2 vehicles, and I think this is just because of the length of the line. Maybe I can bump this up to 3, although it doesn't appear that there's a ton of people on any of these buses. 30. I don't know. Let's do 3. We'll see how that goes. Next up is the green line. Let's see. Okay, that'll reduce it down to 2. I don't know how much usage this one is going to get. So 73 out of 80. I don't know. Let's do a 3 along this route as well. It is slightly longer than our yellow line. So let's do that. I don't even know how many buses I have in total as far as capacity goes. 130%. Holy crap. This is a really busy line. 80 out of 80. I only have 3 buses. Oh yeah, but this is one of our lines that kind of intersects with like almost every line in the city. So maybe I ought to bump this up to 4 buses. There, so let's go for our dark blue line. It's not really having any heavy usage. It's quite a short line, and it doesn't really go, well, yeah, it does kind of go through Old Town. Yeah, I don't know. I guess 3 buses. Start off with that. Oh my lord, what is going on here? Oh, it must be taxis going out of the city. That's probably what's going on. That's crazy. All right, and last but not least, our purple line, which is getting 10% usage. Oh my god, there's a lot of stops along this one. I think this is probably one of our longer lines, but I'm still gonna reduce it down to 3, I think. There. All right. So some of these lines are very seldom used. A lot of them, well, some of them are very heavily used. Red line is like really, really heavy. That goes through the southern part. Oh yeah, this, okay, well this makes sense because it goes literally through like all the busier parts of the city. But it's not at over 100%, so you know that means we have just enough buses. Let's quickly check our bus depot here to make sure that we have enough buses. 25 out of 25. I think it would be worth adding an extra garage. Do I have the room to do this? Oh, no. I hit Control A and it turned off the building. That is not at all what I wanted to do. Here, let's get out of this. I wanted to turn off Anarchy to be able to plop an extra garage, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do so. Not without moving some things around. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot that I don't necessarily have to have these surplus buildings directly connected to the main building. I guess I could sacrifice a couple of small businesses. Yeah, you know, I think I'm just gonna build it right here. There we go. I mean, honestly, it looks better because it looks like it's another warehouse kind of thing. So that will give us access to 35 buses. So as we expand, we will have more than enough buses to go around. And there we go, guys. I think that just about does it for the bus system, or I guess the public transportation system as a whole, because we have to include taxis with that as well. So we have 1 taxi depot for the entire city. 0 vehicles are currently in use. Are they all using the buses? I don't really know. Can we adjust our taxi fares, I wonder? Not really sure. But holy, did that ever make a dent on our taxi service? There is still a number of taxis that are rolling around. They seem to be all heading out of the city. But it looks like our buses just completely wiped taxis off the map. I guess our bus system is so good that the taxis are no longer able to compete. That's wild. Now, I just want to zoom in here because I really like seeing Sims walking around and using our infrastructure. I'm just kind of curious to see. Yeah, like look at this, guys. Tons of people are using our bus service. Oh my god, that is wild. Where else? We have another main station over here. Do we have any people waiting? Oh yeah, look at that. That's crazy. I think our system is too good, guys. This is completely going to drain our city of any traffic at all. All right, so let's get into the next portion of this episode, which is going to be Postal Service. So this for sure is another area that I haven't really been paying attention to. You can see that we have a number of mailboxes dotted around town with just a singular small post office. But surprisingly, it's actually functioning still quite well, it looks like. I mean, we still have plenty of room in our storage, and our 4 vehicles are just running around. But we're definitely going to want to add some more infrastructure here. So let's get started with a proper post office. This building is fairly larger, but I'm sure that we can find a spot for this building somewhere in probably the industrial zone, or well, actually it looks like we probably have some room along this main road if we want to sacrifice a couple of houses, which I guess I'm okay with, because at this point, yeah, we really don't have much of a choice. I guess I could build one, oh yeah, over here would make sense. I'm gonna do over here. Let's do that. So this will give us a bit more room to expand, you know, if you want to build some additional buildings, which I think I do. Yeah, I think this would be pretty cool if I squeezed an additional building in behind. There we go. And you know what? Postal sorting facility. I should have made room for this somewhere in the industrial zone. This is like a massive warehouse. This would have looked really cool somewhere in the city, but that's okay. I'll just have to place it, you know, somewhere on the outskirts of town. That's fine. So if you have our main post office over in this corner of town, let's add another small post office kind of in the neighborhoods, you know. Every neighborhood has their main post office, and I think this side of town is deserving of one. I'm going to go ahead and plop one right over here. There we go. And what I'll do next is I'm just going to go throughout the town, make sure to plop a whole bunch of post boxes. So that'll make it so drivers don't have to drive to the post office. Their mail can be kind of brought over to them. Oh my god, look at that. Look at all the trucks going along. This is wild. But yeah, here I'm definitely going to want to paint the entire city with a bunch of mailboxes, you know, because mailboxes are pretty much everywhere in any city. And I think that should do it. That covers fairly well the entire city. Now let's take a look at telecom. So where are we? So there's a little bit of green. Most of this is yellow in terms of, is this network quality? Yeah, let's check network quality. It is okay. I wish there was more information on this though. Like if I check this, okay, yeah, it's pretty much the same info view. See, the network quality is not great, but it's not terrible. Do I have to click on each tower individually to see? Maybe they're just overloaded. Yeah, I think from what I remember, there's going to be some sort of revamp for this system, because it doesn't really make sense. You know, like my coverage is fine. You know, it's a little spotty in some areas along the coast, but as a whole, it's fine. But I mean, like the network quality, how do we quantify this, right? Like I should be able to click on a tower and see, is it just overused? But yeah, we don't really have anything to go off of. Now in terms of coverage, yeah, I mean, it's totally fine. So I guess we're okay on that front. Let's just quickly breeze through all of our services here. So education, we're pretty much okay in every regard except elementary school and university. So we have 859 eligible students, but unfortunately they are forced to go elsewhere for higher education in the university format. So we're definitely going to want to plop a university somewhere in town. Unfortunately, I ran out of room, so there's no way that we're going to be able to build one of these in the city proper, but maybe we can make some room somewhere along this quay, or even, you know, somewhere in the suburbs. But, you know, regardless, we're gonna definitely want to build a university. We'll get into that a little bit later. Elementary schools, well, we're just shy of capacity, but I already have like way too many schools in the city. So we'll just have to continue that trend, and eventually we'll catch up. Healthcare, we're doing fine. We've got 2 medical centers in town, so this one here is doing just fine, and I mean, our hospital is underutilized, honestly, but that's okay. What else? Recycling, we're doing fine. We got garbage trucks all over the road, and we have our incineration plants, recycling center, so that's taken care of this city. And how is the actual town of Gasparilla doing? Still doing okay. I know that we were struggling there too as far as garbage pickup, but we seem to be doing just fine. Fire services are okay. We haven't had any large fires. Disaster control, we have nothing, but that's fine. I don't think we're playing with natural disasters anyway. Oh, police. Okay, yeah, we literally have 1 police station in the entire city. And we've arrested 1 criminal in the last while. How is, what's the crime rate in our city? It is 1%, and we have a 50% crime success rate, which honestly doesn't sound terrible, but our coverage is not very great. So I'm gonna go ahead and definitely plop a police station, or probably a small police station would be fine out here in the burbs. So look at that, we got an open space right here, perfect location for a police station. And honestly, I think that's okay. That pretty much covers the entire city, so we're fine. One thing that I totally forgot to do, guys, is build a city hall, or even a welfare office for that matter. Wow, there's a lot of interesting buildings here that I'm not even sure we're gonna be able to fit anywhere, but the city hall is just so massive. I don't know, we're gonna have to find a spot for this, because like space was such a constraint over in the city of St. Pat that I couldn't really, you know, build everything. So I think what I'll do instead, spoiler alert, there is going to be another city kind of in the central area of this map. So I think because I have pretty much infinite space over here, I will have a chance to build a lot of these larger buildings, you know. Now with our transportation system being complete, I'm gonna take the remainder of this episode and let's make sure that all the city services are in check before officially calling this city finished. Do I even have, I don't even have a crematorium, do I? Yeah, I noticed that was an issue. At one point there was a number of people waiting to get picked up. So let's go ahead and build a crematorium somewhere around town. I think around these neighborhoods should be okay. So I'm gonna pause the game. Oh, I don't want to destroy the whole street. I want to just, let's see here how wide this is. So healthcare, death care, crematorium. It appears to be as wide as, yeah, so I'll have to build a street going like this. So that's gonna destroy a number of houses, unfortunately. And now I'll go here and remove a couple of crosswalks. Demolish this street. And then I can build my crematorium. That is not going to leave me with much room to build any upgrades. However, my upgrades, I keep forgetting, can be built off campus. All right, guys, well, I'm just now realizing, since I'm not going to have enough room to place the actual city hall, look at this. The crematorium looks just like a proper southern city hall. So I'm gonna actually relocate this building. I'm gonna build it somewhere a bit more official, I guess. Now I'm gonna have to avoid downtown because downtown is kind of untouchable at the moment. I'm not destroying a whole block, but we have a nice transitional area, I would say, over here where it kind of fades out from tall skyscrapers down to the suburbs. And I think like right here would look pretty cool. So let's relocate this dog park. Where could I squeeze this? Maybe that works. And then of course I'm going to have to remove this street So then a couple of these houses are not going to be very happy with me. So we'll let those guys rebuild. And let's relocate this building. Is it able to fit? What's preventing it from being built? Do I have... Oh, I have a parking lot. There we go. Get rid of that. Get rid of all these buildings. That's fine. So let's try this out. Bang. Yeah, you know what? That looks pretty cool. What I think I might do now is add maybe some more row houses just to kind of elongate that transition. So let's build some apartment buildings. And what I'll do here as well, this is purely aesthetic. I have no reason to do this yet, but I'm gonna add some upgrades. So we'll add an incinerator, but it just kind of looks like it's just another add-on, right, to this building. And what about a hearse garage? Oh, this is a pretty large building. No, I think I'll pass on that. And then let's do another apartment building in behind here. So that'll kind of elongate that that transition that I'm going for from downtown skyscrapers whoop, all the way down to suburbs. So now, unfortunately, I did cause a lot of unnecessary destruction over in this corner of town. So I guess I'll just rebuild it as it was because it was fine before. There we are, and we'll just populate all of this with low density housing, just like that. And oh, whoa, I don't want there to be like massive lots like this. And instead, we'll just have some nice, reasonably sized lots, just like this. And then I'll demolish these roads. Oh crap, yeah, that's right. I'm gonna be left with a bit of extra space. So let me pause real quick. Let's fill in these zones all nice and proper. All right, well, in terms of service, I think we've got everything pretty well covered. Tourism, we don't really have any big tourist attractions in town. We have nothing for that matter. But, you know, we potentially could build a water park somewhere on the map. Maybe a couple of landmarks as well. There's nothing that's really that we can fit in the downtown area, so that's fine. But anyways, guys, I think that'll do for today's episode. It was rather long, I would say. But that's okay. We got a lot of work done, and I think at this point we can confidently say that the actual city of St. Patricksburg has finally been completed. So that is going to do it for today. Guys, I thank you so much for watching. And as usual, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested, go check out my Patreon, as there is some pretty cool perks if you become a patron. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.